Hey, you guys, welcome to Regardless. I am so excited to have you here. Regardless is the go-to hub for tips and tools to keep you going, babe, reminding you that you've got this. Okay, so here's the thing. In a world full of tons of fake fixes and products, as you know, keeping it real is something very important to me. And sometimes staying and keeping real starts with something as simple as water, real water. So a couple of weeks back, story time, I had the privilege of visiting Ofora HQ, where I got to taste the water, test the technology, and even bathe in it. It was amazing. It was like jacuzzi energy. And let me tell you, I am high-key obsessed. Meet Ofora, literally the most oxygen-rich, ultra-purified water on the market. This is not your grocery store hydration. Ofora filters out over 30,000 contaminants, yes, even the microplastics and pharmaceuticals, and infuses it with more oxygen than any other bottled water. It's called, I'm gonna get a little nerdy on you guys, nano pure and hyper oxygenated for a reason. It supports with clarity, energy, and your nervous system, which I for sure need. That's exactly why I started drinking Ofora, because I truly wanted to glow from the inside out. And thanks to Ofora, you make me feel more real and honestly, more sky than ever. So hydrate with realness, hydrate with intention, hydrate with Ofora, regardless of the trends. This is the kind of beauty I'm going to be drinking. Head to aforawater.com or at aforawater on Instagram to check them out and to get your bottles. Hi, you guys. Very excited to be here. Kylie, I am so proud of you. Seriously, a baby was just born, and it happens to be Little Pipes Resort. Yes. And I just feel so honored that I'm like the first friend in your life to get to see this. So I just wanted to thank you from the bottom of my heart. Like, my mom and I were in bed last night cuddling, and she's like, Sky, like, how epic is it that like she invited you to see what she's been building and working towards for years? So I just want to thank you. I'm honored.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Seriously.
Well, I'm so glad. I was like, as you know, a little panicked, everyone coming here, because it was like getting the last minute things done. There's still, if you don't look too hard in the background because there's some paint and some things that still need to get touched up. But I'm so honored. And we got the pool filled tonight. We're going to do a little hot tub later.
So ready.
We're so excited. And it's amazing. And we have our amazing moms with us.
Yes. Thrilled to be here. Thank you. And just, I have to be honest too, like being able to walk through the front doors yesterday, blown away, first of all, coming over the hill and seeing your beautiful, I want to say the compound, because it's amazing. But walking through the front doors and being greeted by you, Stacy, which I've known you for years, and you've been such an amazing individual and inspiration in my life. So being here with the two of you is, oh my goodness, it's the best. We get a little mother-daughter time.
And Stacy, do you want to, how about you guys like introduce yourselves to my audience?
Okay. All right.
And how you kind of met Linda.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sitting here.
Yeah. Because you
right.
guys are the reason.
We met because as moms, we were on similar journeys, very much into yoga and wellness and really exploring spirituality and wanting to raise our kids in a time where there's a lot of chaos, a lot of anxiety, and give them some tools to really help manage a lot of things that especially young women have to experience today. There's a lot of pressure and there's a lot of expectation, and it's usually from within. It's not necessarily what's outside, but they're bringing that in. And so that's how we met, and we brought these two together, and they hit it off.
Well, through yoga, too.
Yes,
you
through
tell them
yoga.
you're a yoga teacher?
Yeah, I said through yoga and wellness.
Teaching yoga.
In fact, this morning we started off the day with a beautiful yoga class, and the first one here in Little Pipes, and it was just beautiful. At the same time, they were filling the pool.
Oh, life isn't perfect like that.
We saw Kylie literally like over behind the pool climbing this ladder on this like
Water pump or
I'm like, what is she doing? Like, is she okay?
We're on a well here, and so I was checking the water tank to see how much was filled and how much wasn't because I ordered too much water for the pool. So we were going to fill up the tank with it. So I'm like running around. That's why I went through and turned on all the showers to drain to get the potable water. Oh my gosh. It's been a little bit of chaos, but that's like, I feel like part of the journey that people don't see is like everything's happening and you just kind of have to learn to take a deep breath and deal with it because there's things that are going to happen. Like we were talking about it last night. It's like the anxiety, all those things come with it because you're doing something that's out of your comfort zone and that requires it. So
100%. And we were, I think, just talking to someone at Noy House, and we were just talking about how, people make it or they're successful or the influencers or celebrities that we see, and even entrepreneurs. And it's like, it is so not glamorous. And like what happens behind the scenes, like the number one quality that I think success, how successful people have in common is really grit.
Yeah, 100%.
And it's just like showing up every single day, regardless of how anxiety inducing it can be or just uncomfy at times.
Yeah, I agree. And I want to go back to what you said about raising kids and girls, that it's so interesting. It's like, that is the grit. I look at the two of you, and I think probably, Stacy, I don't want to speak for you, but I know you, that it's like, it's not about making their lives really cushy. It's about supporting you through those messy times, through those difficult times in your life. And really, I know that I want to champion you and to sit back and see and observe and be a part of this.
Yeah.
It's amazing to me. Yeah. It really is.
Yeah, I think, well, at least from my perspective, one of the greatest things about having kids and raising kids is watching them really magnetize the values they grew up with, the beliefs they grew up with in their own special way. So they basically have taken everything that they've learned, and now in their own special way, they're still a part of us in it, but they're magnetizing it out in the world. And whether that's, building, a beautiful place here in Joshua Tree, whether that's rocking, an amazing podcast and influencing, they're doing it in their own special way. But the values and what they've learned, hopefully, when I was talking about the wellness and the spirituality and the things that have been ingrained with them, they're taking that with them.
Yeah.
Well, and I think to that, I mean, I couldn't have done any of this without two supportive parents. Like, I think the greatest gift or leg up I've been given in this life is like having really supportive parents who, if I'm struggling or if I have a question, they can help me answer. And I think like that's kind of the greatest gift we can be given, like constant support system and parents who have gone through, entrepreneurship journeys and like different things, and like talking with my dad and my mom, like going through this myself has brought us a lot closer because I've heard like the times that I wasn't around yet in their 20s where they were starting businesses and they failed and then they tried something else. Because I've only really, when you're an adult, you only really see the success side for the most part. Because you, like when you're younger, it's like your parents, like I think I didn't remember things. You were in your 40s when I really started remembering about your
all our grit that we had to go through, all the grit, and
you kind of
that
just see the reward portion of it.
But not everything that went into it.
When I like started this, like talking to my parents and them telling me those stories are like things that I wouldn't really have known otherwise. So that was like a really important part of all this too.
Yeah, and also just knowing you have that safe place and you're two individuals who love you so much to go to. That, I realize a lot of times, Sky, even for you, and I can relate to what you're saying, is that like when you're hit, like when you have those hard times or the real messy times, I think as a mom, like my heart, the second I was pregnant and had you and Nathan, it's like my heart was officially on the outside of my body. So I feel like I feel everything that you go through, and I'm also feeling what I'm feeling about it, my experience, but being really kind of cognizant of playing that fine line to allow you guys to do what you need to do and mess up. We may have I may sit back and go, maybe you should, I don't know about that, but part of it is, right, is that learning to move through these trials and tribulations in your life And I know you guys are hitting a lot of them, just where you are developmentally. I mean, I can imagine. We talked about this last night.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more. And I'm so grateful that we have parents who are so supportive, because I do know a lot of kids our age who don't have parents who would support them going off and starting their own business and investing not only time, energy, but money into something that is not existent.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you did it, but I think it does take a solid support system and an emotional support system to like just celebrate you and hold you up in so many ways. And so I feel like we are so grateful to have that. And even like what we were saying last night, like, what has it been like for our moms to see, or first of all, to like birth little girls into the world, and then like to see us in creating like our legacy? Like, what is that experience like for you?
Well, I think that this will probably not be the only thing you will do. You're still young. I think you have to remember that at this age, 20s, early 30s, that you have to remind yourself. I at least from my experience when I was that age, there's a lot of impatience. Like, I want it now. Like, I've been at this for 5 years, and why am I not there yet? And you have to remember from a perspective where we're at, long life. You have a long life. There's many things you're going to do, and this will be a step. The things that you're learning at whatever you're doing now are just another step into something even more magnificent. And it's a long life. You have so many things that you can go to. So from my perspective, it's not necessarily the only legacy that you're building here. You're building it towards the next step. And each decade, something, amazing is going to happen. You're laying the foundation for it. So long way to go.
Yeah, I agree. And I think what you said, it's like you have a long landing strip to wherever you want to arrive. And where is that, quite honestly? But also, like, when you start to doubt, like, I see that. Like, it should be happening. Why isn't this funding coming in? Why is it? Yeah.
Every day.
And I have to remind this one, and I loved what you said. It is a process. I have to remind you, literally, you have been recording the podcast for going on 4 years. But it wasn't until the beginning of this year, because at the end of last year, you had quite a few little knockdowns, but that you started doing this full time. It's only beginning of May, and you've already created and moved this far. Patience, tolerance of the discomfort.
Yes, and I would also say that the majority of people get knocked down several times, and right before they're ready for that breakthrough, they quit.
Yes.
And you have to just keep going, and know that all the confusion that you're going to, because a big part of it is confusion.
Yeah.
Am I doing the right thing? But confusion's a beautiful place to be, because in confusion, your mind's now working, and it's working towards a breakthrough. It's starting to think in a different way of, okay, I'm confused, but now it's firing. It's firing off, and it's starting to go, okay, how am I going to break through that? What's my next step? So embrace the confusion. Don't get impatient with it. Embrace it. Love the confusion you go through.
And with the confusion, this is what I always say, is stay in curiosity. Keep being curious, because we do tend to give up when we start to feel fear. Yep. We feel paralyzed. There's way too much uncertainty because we don't have that immediate, and sometimes it's not even immediate answer or immediate relationship, or wanting to know what this person feels about us. Stay curious, stay open.
Enjoy.
Let the magic happen, right? You're seeding it. Enjoy, right?
Yeah. I think, like, I have a question for Kai.
Yeah.
Obviously, like, my God, I was telling my mom this. We were driving up, and I'm like, oh my God. So Kylie, like, quite literally pulled up to the desert, and like nothing was here besides Joshua trees. Like, how did you just decide to like be like, yo, like, I'm gonna invest,
this is it.
and this is it, mom and dad.
Well, to go into my background a little bit, for right out of college, I worked at a private equity firm called Brixton Capital for 7 years, doing analyst work, like acquisitions of like big shopping centers, multifamily buildings, doing all of like the financial analysis and the everything required to purchase a property on the front end. So I did that for 7 years, and I was feeling very stuck during COVID, which I think a lot of us were. And I was like, I want to do something different, something that I'm passionate about, and like really try something on my own. And I was like, where would that be? And so I used to come out here and just stay. And I always found it like this really peaceful, calming place where you got away, it was quiet, and you could really connect with other people and yourself. Like when you were here, there wasn't a lot of distractions. You weren't running from place to place. It was really a place to slow down. And I really thought that was beautiful. And I was like, I would love to create a place where other people can experience and come to that. And, you know, I've loved building houses. My parents built our house when I was little, and it was like I was climbing all the walls. It was like one of my favorite processes. So I was like, I want to try that. But I also think, you know, we talk about like youth and like the different patterns. I think the beautiful thing about youth is you're willing to try things. Like you don't have the experience to know that how hard it's going to be. Because like if you told me back then how hard it was going to be, I probably would have chickened out and just stayed at my corporate job. But I think the youth of that and the inexperience of that is the reason why I'm ultimately here today, because I had to persevere and I had to learn those things hard way. And I know so much more than if I would have never done that. So I think it's like a little bit of both. Like that's what you get with age is the experience, but also the youth brings this willingness and this like naivety to do things that you otherwise wouldn't.
Yeah. You know, I just have a quick question for you, because you said something, which I see this in you as well, Sky, but you had this like craving almost to go do something on your own.
Yeah.
That I think is not very many people. You know, to just want to take the leap. Yeah, you may have had some sort of security thinking, okay, I've put my time in at this job, but you really were like, no, I want to see what I'm made of.
Yeah.
Made that decision.
What?
Yeah.
Well, and I think that comes down to my parents. Like I grew up with two entrepreneur parents, like from like since I was little, like, you know, what do you want to be when you grow up? Like I want to build something for myself. But like I've always felt that way. I just didn't know what. And like I love this and I love building things and being a part of a process. So I think I was continually trying to see like what that next step was. And you know, like my mom said, like building this out, like I just want to keep continuing to grow and build things and lasting things that people can enjoy and like create. Like I think that's like a thing that we had in common is like this kind of need and desire to build and create things and like have like a little bit of our stamp on the world.
Yeah.
I would add to that, just to get a little more detailed in it. One of the things, so yes, she grew up with two entrepreneurial parents, which makes it a little bit easier. But at the same time, even though both our kids wanted to have their own companies early on, you know, the advice we gave them, and the advice I would give a lot of young people is before you just dive in and I'm going to start my company, we told them you need to get some structure first. And so we encouraged both of them to go work for somebody in an area. You have to be there on time. You have to, you know, she worked such long hours building her career. She had a great mentor there who really showed her how to do finance, how to look at these buildings. So she got all this structure, worked her butt off for 16 years. She just didn't like come out of college and say, I'm going to start all this. So for everyone young out there, get a great mentor, get structure around it, and show up, do a great job, learn as much as you can, save some money, learn how to save, learn how to live frugally. For a while, she lived very frugal for a very long time, saved her money, and then bought a place.
Too much. Like my finance.
It's okay. I'm moving home in
Here's
June,
the thing.
so I will
The point is, she was making a lot of money in private equity. She was making an extraordinary amount of money for a young 20-year-old. And she didn't just blow it, she
No,
saved
but
it with a
yeah,
vision.
yeah.
And she came out here and bought 20 acres
Yeah.
on her own. We never even had been here. She's like,
No.
well, I bought 20 acres in Joshua Tree. And we're like, what?
Yeah, I agree. I think it was the maturity process and you, of course, having the foundation, but there was something inside of you that you paid attention as versus staying at what was comfortable, right? Just like staying in a relationship that you knew probably wasn't going to go, or women do that, right? And men too. But, you know, it's kind of like there was something inside of you that's like, yeah, I can stay here, but I'm going to take the leap.
And I want to like make a point about being a young, we're young women.
Yeah.
And I think it takes a lot of grit to actually take that leap of faith from corporate into going after your dreams. First of all, like not only financially, but also emotionally, and even as it relates to friendships and romantic relationships. And I don't know, just like even my experiences of just doing this alone, I think this is why I adore you. And one of the reasons why is that like we just get each other.
Yeah.
I think we're on a really similar path. And I think this path as a woman in our late 20s, just about to embark on our 30s, it can feel very lonely. Mm-hmm. And it's tough. I mean, especially for us, like having incredible mothers who obviously we all value family. Like I want all of those things. Like I want to be a successful entrepreneur. I also want to be a mother like you guys. And I also want to have the flexibility to stay at home with the kids. Like I want it all. And so it's like, is that possible? And like, I want to get the POV from like mom sitting here because this is like tough one. Yeah.
It's funny. We went out to dinner last night. We were chatting a little bit about this. And from my perspective, I believe you can have it all, but you can't have it all at once. So this is when I go back to long life. And when you start to realize, because in the 20s, the early 30s, a lot of impatience, got to get there, got to be something. But if you can look at the spectrum of your life, it's a long life. You can have a great career, but you can't also necessarily keep those kind of hours and going and expect your relationship to be hot and great all the time, to raise kids at the same time who need you. You have got a long life. And if you can kind of map out your life so that you're able to do the things that you want to do during that time and when it's important, and have the confidence that, you know, the tough thing I think for women who stay home and end up taking care of their kids is they then feel lesser than when they try to go back into the workplace. But I have to say that the experience of taking care of kids at home is extraordinary. And you are doing everything. If you were paid for it, you would be making a lot of money, but you're not. You're paid for it in love. And when you go back, nowadays, you have so many options to start up your own gig. Yeah. You just take those talents of whatever you're doing and start up your own gig. Now you have that chance whether you're at that point 50, 60, or even older.
New episodes drop every Monday on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube.